how old do you think we are? And she says, I don't know, 60? So I said, well, I'm 87, going on 88, and my wife is 85, and she went. And he wasn't, and what did he say to me? I forgot.
What follows now is a story of speech, a tale of communication. Speech carried ever greater distances with ever increased clarity and simplicity. It is an account of a recent and remarkable link between Canada and Great Britain, introduced as a service to the people of these countries by the Canadian Overseas Telecommunication Corporation. We will presently dial London, England, and Edinburgh, Scotland, as effortlessly as I might call home and delay dinner.
Well, now, this is telex. It is teletype connected by means of a central exchange to any spot in the world. And there is a directory, just as you have a telephone directory. And if I wish to contact, I first of all press the button, which is the same as lifting the receiver off the hook. And this is calling the switchboard in Montreal, the headquarters of the Canadian Overseas Telecommunications Corporation. There goes the button. And while they're doing that, I'll look up the number. Air Ministry, I've got the number. The answer is COTC Montreal. They're ready to go. And I say, this is First C. Saltzman Tabloid calling UK.
June 10th, 1957. It was our first televised election. Canadians sat down in their living rooms, turned on their TV sets, and neither elections nor politics would ever be the same.
Good evening and welcome to CBC Central, our main election studio here in Toronto. I'm Bruce Marsh.
Elvis Presley.
Happy Christmas. 25 years ago, my grandfather broadcast the first of these Christmas messages. Today is another landmark, because television has made it possible for many of you to see me in your homes on Christmas Day.
Yeah, but otherwise I can see that it's no problem.
Each batch of fibers that has been milled is sent to the laboratory for testing to determine the grade and quality. Realizing the importance of constant grades in asbestos milling, the Quebec Standard machine was adopted and 7 other quality control tests were developed. Suter Webb combing test, the percentage of long fibers from the sample is determined and weighed.
In his first visit to a foreign nation since assuming the presidency, Mr. Kennedy arrives in Ottawa on a visit of state. He is greeted at the airport by Governor General George P. Vanier and the Prime Minister, John Diefenbaker. Mr. Kennedy is taking his first step in personal international diplomacy with this visit, which precedes his visit to France next month and a tentative meeting with Khrushchev in Vienna.
Mordecai Richler has now lived in Europe, mostly in London, for 8 years. He returned to Canada for 14 months last year and wrote his somewhat unfavorable impressions for a London newspaper, The Spectator.
The culmination of a dream that began more than a half-century ago. The Trans-Canada Highway is officially open as Prime Minister Diefenbaker unveils a plaque at Roger Pass in British Columbia and then tamps the last bit of pavement into place. From St. John's, Newfoundland, this superb engineering feat stretches nearly 5,000 miles to the west, terminating at Victoria, British Columbia. From the protected snow tunnels to the 4,000-foot climb over the Rockies, the new highway will offer the motorists both safety and beauty, with every turn unveiling new vistas.
Back and got that one to finally win the game by the narrow margin of 1 goal. Detroit outshot Toronto 30-28. In the other game in Montreal, Montreal Canadiens shut out Boston 2-0. As a result of this game tonight, the league standings, Toronto Maple Leafs and Chicago Blackhawks are tied for first place with 6 points apiece. Then come the Montreal Canadiens with 5, followed by Detroit with 4, New York with 2, and Boston 1. And so once again the final score, Toronto Maple Leafs 2, Detroit Red Wings 1.
New friends. New dance. New drink. It's Canada Dry Grapefruit. With special sparkle, citrus crisp, orchard fresh. Lively with pinpoint carbonation. Shall we dance? Canada Dry makes a special sparkle mixer for every taste in every convenient size, including king-size grapefruit, enough to quench a big thirst or pour 2 full glasses. Canada Dry Grapefruit in big king-size bottles.
First of all, John, how's your throat?
It's not so bad, you know, it's getting better.
What do you mean it's not so bad, it's getting better?
Well, it was lousy the other day, I could hardly speak, you know, but I had a couple of jabs here and there, and it's getting a bit better.
Ringo, yes. You're pretty popular in Toronto.
Thank you very much.
Do you like Toronto, or have you seen very much?
Well, what I've seen of it's okay.
What have you seen of it so far?
Hotel and drive-in from the airport.
How was that drive-in from the airport?
Very good, one of the best, actually.
What do you mean by one of the best?
Well, it was well organised with the police, you know.
Yeah, but you had a rough time coming through that King Edward Hotel lobby.
Oh, that was a bit rough, but it was okay, you know.
I understand you lost a tie clip.
No, I didn't. Someone made that up. I didn't even have a tie on.
You know, there's a young lady back here a little while ago asking me how often you chaps wash your hair.
Once a week, twice, you know, any time. It's like when we get a cut, you know, there's no set time.
Paul,
yes.
I think your name is Paul, right?
Yes.
Paul, you are a favorite in Toronto. I think it's your good. No, I think it's your good looks that go along with it.
Gee.
I'll get to you yet, sir. Paul, what do you think of Toronto? I mean, what you've seen of it so far?
Well, you know, like Ringo says, we haven't seen a lot of it, but it's nice. We just saw a little bit, a few lights. Who's it, Timmy? No, John. Saw a few lights from the air, you know, you couldn't really tell. Sounds good, though. Nice.
What about these people out here? I mean, you know, you saw
marvelous, yeah,
today.
the audience is fantastic
Are
today.
the teenagers of Toronto any different from the teenagers that you've met all across the continent?
No, they're all just as good, you know. They're all great.
Well, we kind of think they're better.
Okay. All right.
Now, let me get to your friend over here. Oh, he's already busy. That's I'll get you later. Okay.
L'étendard a été amené par le sergent Albert George Goswell de la gendarmerie royale. Partout à Ottawa, au bas de tous les édifices du gouvernement fédéral, un étendard semblable est hissé en ce moment.
We'd like to take this opportunity to send best wishes to all our Imperial Esso dealers in British Columbia, who next weekend will have Vancouver as their host city during their big dealer convention. We know the outcome of their discussions will mean even more happy motoring for BC motorists. This is Murray Westgate saying good night on behalf of Imperial Oil Limited.
OSP, what is your destination?
CB21, Vancouver, do you read?
CBA-21, do you read? CBA-21, do you read?
Here is the CBC National News. A Canadian Pacific airliner has crashed in rugged country in the Caribou district of British Columbia.
Less than an hour after takeoff, an explosion sends CP-21 plummeting to the ground. All 52 people on board killed.
like all time stops, that's it. I'd die for him. No, this crowd I may have to. Oh my God, the people. I didn't want to live anyway.
What I like about it is this man is going to bring us 1 million young men and women to the Liberal banner who without him wouldn't even bother to vote.
A CBC color presentation.
Scientific reality of life can be explained by the analysis of what this is. The reality of the beauty of the rose is the sap. And how do we find this reality of the rose? By going deeper into the petal and transcending the quality of the petal. When we arrive at the level of the sap, there we find the reality of this rose.
Telescope, tonight brought to you by your telephone company, part of the Trans-Canada telephone system, a world of communications progress at your fingertips.
Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, whose face has become almost as familiar as some of his celebrated followers, is a simple man with a simple message. He is a guru, a teacher of a technique of meditation based on traditions originated thousands of years ago. Much has been written and said about the involvement of people like the Beatles and Mia Farrow with this Eastern philosophy, but the fact remains that followers of Maharishi in the Western world are numbered in the hundreds of thousands, nearly 20,000 of them in Canada. This past summer, hundreds of these Canadians, doctors, lawyers, housewives, university students, journeyed to Alberta's Chateau Lake Louise to join Maharishi in a 6-day seminar.
This has been a Dog in a Bonnet Productions.
2021.